Okay, so for the first time when I thought about waking up in the morning, I don't know, I think it was 2018 or early 19. And till then, I didn't know about the 5 a.m. habit, mindset, manifestation, putting in the work. I think I didn't have a direction more than anything else. And at that point, a lot of things seemed unbelievable, too hard to do, will it work or not, and all of those things. And I was like, maybe or maybe not. But then, let me tell you, okay. Hey, you guys, welcome back to the Arts to Hearts podcast, and I am your host, Charuka. Welcome to another mini episode. These mini episodes are generally in contrast to my artist and creative and entrepreneurs interviews on this podcast are like, a fun way, a transparent way, a 100% honest way of sharing my life as I take on to several roles as an artist, as a creator, as a creative entrepreneur, as a woman, and almost anything and everything that happens in me with me in my life. I love to share that experience as much as I can, as comfortable as I can be. I have done pretty hard episodes, very personal ones in the past, and I think I love the idea of sharing that with other people because I know how much strength I find knowing that what I'm going through, I'm not alone in that. And then if someone has gone through that, and so can I. And I think with the same intention, I always record these episodes because if you're listening, if you resonate with me, if I can even support you 1%, I'm more than happy to take that leap of faith. So, like I said, today's mini episode, is about something I feel like is very apt for the beginning of the year. And I wanted to share my experience with how we all, have heard about routines, how the 5 a.m. club and, manifestation and all of that. And I just wanted to share my thoughts about it, how I have been practicing it, what I do, and what's working and what's not working. Okay, so first year when I tried and I actually heard about waking up early in the morning, I wasn't an early riser ever. I have all my life had late nights. I would be so much more creative, at night, and then I would mostly sleep in the morning, maybe a little late afternoon. I'm too embarrassed to admit that today because I live very differently now. But yeah, that's how I used to be. And I honestly was very productive. I still feel that even today because I feel like naturally my mind and body had picked up a time which was the night time when everything was quieter. Um, and I just had so much time to myself. I had my privacy because, when I was young, I would share my room with my sibling, and then when he would go asleep, or like my sister would sleep, and then that was the time I would do stuff. And then I think I just carried that on for years and years and years. Only until a couple of years ago when I decided that I needed to switch things up. Now, before I dive into the early 5 a.m. club and all of those things, I want to tell you why I opted for this change in lifestyle. As much as I still love waking up till late night, I love my nights. I think I'm way more productive and creative. I still feel that way. But I realized that I was messing more things up because of one thing. I was not able to make the most of my day. I was very tired next morning. I wouldn't be able to show up for meetings. When you're working with other people, you need to have a schedule that complies and that is comfortable for everyone. And while if I sleep too late, I mean, if I'm sleeping 5 in the morning, if I'm sleeping late at night, I think it was terribly hard for me to be present throughout the day in the activities I was doing. And as you grow old, you have more responsibilities. I have to wake up. if not too early, but at least at some point. I mean, I have to. And then, take care of things and all of that. And I figured that, okay, this was high time. I needed to feel more organized. I think that was one of the driving force, that I wanted to feel more organized. And even though I was feeling more productive at night, I was way more unorganized throughout the day. And I think another thing was, I felt like if I wake up in the morning, I have access to more hours in the day. And yeah, that's it. So I think 2018, I tried to switch that up. I tried to train myself, and I truly believe there is nothing that you can't do. You just need to set your mind to it and then train yourself. Practice every day, and you'll get there. That's all. That's all it takes. I truly believe that. Show up no matter what. Yeah. So it was terribly hard, and because my body wasn't adapted to it, even till today, I mean, feel like working in the morning, it takes a lot of effort for me, creatively, because my mind in its natural sense, loves the night time. And not that I don't give it if it wants, but I know how I want certain things now, and I try to, instead of my mind always telling me, I'm like, this time let me do things my way. So I trained myself. It was terribly hard. I was not very productive for a very long time. My mind wouldn't really work in the early hours, and getting adapted to the whole shift was hard. I remember waking up in the morning was so hard for me, because I wouldn't even be able to wake up. I would switch on the lights and sleep, because I do not have a very sound sleep when I have lights on, and I figure that if I keep a few lights on, I wouldn't be in a very deep sleep, and that way I would be able to wake up. And it worked. It worked. A couple of years into it now, I mean, I'm quite a few years into it. I mean, not, I mean, maybe 3, 4. I mean, yeah, I think 3. And now it's gotten so much better. I wake up, I mean, in summers, I try to wake up 5:30. In the winters, I try to wake up 6:30. I mean, depending. I wake up even earlier if it's needed. But I just love that routine now. I feel like I have so much more time to myself than anything. What I always hated about waking up late was that I felt like I was rushed into the day. The day had already begun, and I wasn't able to have a grab of it. And that was something very overwhelming for me, especially as I was finding my way in my career, in my creative profession, in entrepreneurship. And I was like, okay, I need to put things right. And it's been a lot better, because I feel like when I wake up early, I spend a few hours with myself, I work out, and I make these changes in my life. It's given me so much more time to myself, which seems quite impossible when you get on with your life every day, like, your work, your family, your friends, your other commitments. And we often put ourselves on the back seats, because it's hard for us to put that time out. And I feel like, to begin something with your own self, to fulfill your body, to fulfill your soul, it just gives you so much more energy to get through the day, even if it's good or bad or hard or not. I mean, it's just like filling your cup before you fill someone else's. Okay, so this was one major shift that I did a couple of years ago that really helped me bring more structure to my life, be more organized, and more mindful, actually, because I felt like I wasn't rushing into a day. Because I was getting up early. I have a routine now that I try to follow on almost most of the days. I'm not very strict about it. Some days when I feel like, I mean, I am strict about it, honestly. Like, when I realize I'm saying this, I really hold myself accountable for things, that now a lot of those things have become second nature. But I also understand that I need to have grace for myself. For some days when I feel like, okay, this, I'm getting too overwhelmed, or if I'm getting too tired and I need a break from a routine, I know that I need to give that to myself. Now, other thing that I have added to my self care basically is um, having a workout. And believe me, I can't even tell you how resistant I was to this. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I wasn't someone who loves working out. I used to hate it. I mean, I used to hate it to my core. I can't even tell you. Like when I was young, I was very lean, like very active, and I used to be in dance and all of that. But while I grew up, we never had the priority of, working out, or I never saw, like in my family, that, if that was a lifestyle adaptation. And in India, growing up, especially in a city like ours, in smaller towns, safety, women, you don't tend to have a lot of habit of walking around the street. So you're always either in a car or in a public transport or in a bicycle or on a bike or something. It's not so common for people to travel on foot. So a lot of us don't have that habit anymore. Um, and I remember when I figured, like, I would pick up in between months where I would try myself, like, I would, you know, when I would want to either lose weight or, something like that, and I would join a gym or I would do something, but it wasn't ever from the desire that I needed to do this because this was something my body and soul needed. And I would always do it for a couple of months and then end it, and that's it. That's how it would work. It never became a necessity for me until I think 2019. That is when I really, really shifted it. When I used to wake up in the morning and I started going on for long walks. I mean, I started going on for long walks. That's what I started with. They seemed very daunting in the beginning. Then I signed up for yoga. I did that for a year or two. I mean, more than a year. I was very happy with it. I would wake up 5 in the morning, and then I would go for yoga, and I would, oh my god, I was that was the best thing that I did. And since then, I have been trying to get over my fear of, cardios and weights. And for the past 2 years, I have been constantly pushing myself on the edge of, doing more cardio based exercises, doing more um, weights, and all of that. Now, why the question is again, why am I so willing to put this in my life as a fundamental? The good thing about having your body active, apart from like your health reasons and everything, is it takes care of your body, it takes care of your mind. But more than anything else, what I feel is there's so many important lessons that your body, especially when you test it and push it, teach you in real life, that you can apply. When remember when I started working with my trainer um, last year, and when he just, on the first day, he just tested me what my resilience was, how much my stamina was, how much my strength was. And I was like, I've been doing yoga for a while, and maybe, I mean, it wouldn't be so bad. To my surprise, I was terrible. I was really, really bad. I had great flexibility thanks to yoga, but I was not so good when it came to stamina, to strength, and all of those things. And I figured that I was always so afraid of that I'd always put that all like on the back burner. So I wouldn't really focus on that. And on the first day, I literally almost fell, and like, I don't know, so many things. And then I just kept on showing up. I was like, I would wake up every day, and I just I just told myself I need to get through this workout. And then I would wake up next day and I would tell myself I just need to get through this workout and get through this workout and get through this workout. The good thing is my trainer understands what I like. I tell him, okay, this is not interesting. I just feel like if I want to spend 45 minutes with you or an hour with you, I want to make sure that I when I wake up, because that's the first thing in the morning that I'm doing after my journal, I want to I don't want to feel like I don't want to do this. And it's not like something that happens, it's not like I will get up, oh my god, I'm so excited. I know that it'll take effort, but I still want to keep improvising it in a way that it makes it more interesting for me. So that's what I did. I kept on telling him, he still keeps iterating, like, he keeps moving things around so that it keeps me motivated. And then one day, by every day, I just always made sure that I show up for one day. That's all that matters to me. If I show up today, it's all that mattered. I didn't have to think how I will make through the year. Gladly, I have gone through over 1.5 years now. And I didn't attach my goals to my weight or any external factors more than just that I had to show up every day. By day. And that's what I did. Eventually, in the beginning it was hard, but then eventually started getting easier. And then it started getting interesting. And then it started becoming a habit. It became something that I started to enjoy. From a journey where I hated it to a journey that I enjoy it today, it's been a very interesting one, and it's not something that happens overnight. It happens when you do things when you feel uncomfortable. It happens when you show up even when you don't want to. It happens when you know that it's for your good and you don't have to think about how you're going to make through an year. You just think about how you're going to make through today. That's all I did. I've been 1.5 years into it, and I'm still not thinking how I'm going to do it for the rest of my life, which I absolutely have 100% intention to. But I've been thinking about how can I show up tomorrow? How will I show up today? I just want to make sure that being in the present has been such a good learning for me. Also with the workout is, if I see my strength difference from where I was to where I am today, there's a huge difference. I can't even believe things that I do today. If you would have asked me 1.5 earlier, I would be like, are you joking? I can't do this. But I'm doing that today because I showed up. I showed up for the clumsy part. I showed up for the hard part, the ugly part where I would make fun of myself. I would feel like, oh my God, I can't do this. But I kept on doing it, and until I did it. Exactly something what I feel is very important when you have a physical routine in your life. It gives you perseverance. It teaches you that no matter how many times you fail, if you keep at it, you're going to get there. It gives you so much more patience and resilience that we all need in our lives to keep chasing our dreams. And yeah, that's why I truly, truly love having a routine that, that just makes me more intentional about who I am and who I want to be. Third, last, I will share in this episode is, again, everybody talks about it, everybody knows about it, and I want to share my side of that story. I remember I heard about journaling maybe it wasn't so mainstream as it is today. A lot of people now journal, they know what journaling is, the benefits and all of that. I remember I heard about it, 2016 or something, how journaling is important for your mental health, for manifestations, and for basically anything and everything. I had never kept a journal. The whole idea of maybe having a journal and then someone finding out was so scary for me. That was just so hard. But I was like, I was very lonely. I was very confused. I was struggling so much that I was willing to try anything that came my way and promised that it would, like, that it would help me. And I was like, okay, if this helps, why not? I'm more than happy to do it. And then I kept at it. I wrote some days, I didn't wrote some days, I showed up sometimes, I didn't show up sometimes. Initially I wouldn't even know what I needed to write. And then I found The Artist's Way book, which spoke about the morning pages, which was amazing. Then I heard about affirmations and then gratitudes and all of that. And I will be 100% honest, I didn't know about a lot of these things until a few years ago. And I am so grateful for people who speak about it today, because it's brought so many positive changes in me. And I hope people continue to have this conversation and we go much deeper into this, because some positive habits, we feel like they, I mean, when I heard of manifestation, for a long time I believed, like, oh my god, this is just, things people say on the internet, and then people impress other and all of that. This doesn't work and all of that. And look at me today, I love that shit. I mean, this is what I live for now. I mean, I believe in this, and I have seen it works for me. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's strange things happen sometimes. With the journal, I think it started from the idea that I was so lonely, I needed a space. And today it's like breathing to me. I think in all these years, if I tell you how important journaling is, hear me out. I lost my mom last year. I don't think anything would have got me through apart from my own journal. It's been the single most important element to help me get over so many things in my life right now. It's seen the bad, the ugliest, the tears, everything. It's seen the darkest side of me, the brightest side of me. It's like a friend that is just mine. I'm not scared. I know it's not judgmental. And it's there for me whenever I want. And I still think if I wouldn't have had the habit, and I didn't know at that point when I was doing that, but if I wouldn't have had the habit of journaling, it would have been so much more hard to process my feelings. Even now, I get triggered with a lot of things, and my grief is always in me, and it comes on the forefront every now and then. But with this experience of journaling now today, I know how to handle it, and I know where to put it, and I know that I have a safe space that I built for myself. Not today, it took years, but I know the support that it's giving me today. Journaling has been life changing for me. It's helped me get over my insecurities, my fears, my chase my dreams, accept so many part of who I am, and my relationships and everything else. And it's also made me realize that when I think so many things in my head, they seem to be harder, bigger, uglier. But when I actually put them down, they're not. That's not all I think. It's not as bad as I thought. And it makes me feel so much better. I think these three things I would want to. I mean, there are a few more things that I do love to have in my routine, but honestly, three things, are something that I love to do. Non-compromisable. I feel like when I'm very consistent, I'm very intentional about it, they make more impact in my life than anything else. I love to add my affirmations and my gratitude journals in the morning with my journaling, so that's something a part of my own journal routine. I keep my journal just very close to me. Um, and honestly, in that process, I've also lost the fear of what if someone finds. I'm like, find it. I mean, read it. What max would you be able to do? I think that's the thing with journal. It makes you much more confident with who you are. I mean, when you face yourself on that paper, you start loving yourself and you start embracing who you are. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things that a journal can give you. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. I wanted to share about these self care, intentional morning routines, and I don't know what you want to call it. If you think you want to try it, I would suggest go ahead and do that and then switch ways. See what works for you. I've made several attempts. I've iterated and made so many improvisations, and what I have learned from, and I felt like, okay, this worked and this didn't. How do I make this work for me? And I would switch things up, and that's how it worked. So take this step if you feel like you're somewhere you want to pick up another habit, do something. I would say just give it time. I feel like I always tell myself anything I do now that I will pick up something and give it at least a year, and then think if it's working or not, because it's too early for me to judge for an habit to see if it's working for me or not. It takes a while for you to get a hang of it, and it's been working well for me so far. And yeah, that's it. I have in this episode talked about how journaling, how having a active morning workout, and then waking up early in the hours has helped me. It's drastically increased my productivity. Sometimes it exhausts me, like, and I'm okay. I take breaks. When I feel like it's getting too overwhelming, I try to switch things up. Sometimes I would, not journal, or I'll journal once I get up and do my workout. You know, I think I have always talked about this. I'm someone who loves structure, but also wants fluidity. So I know that the morning time, the structure is that I want to be more focused on myself and all of that. But sometimes I'm like, okay, if this I don't want to do it this way, I want to have the liberty to do it another way and give myself that permission. Okay, so that's it for today's episode. I hope you have a fantastic day. If you like this episode, you can please always reach out to me. I'm always here. If you like this episode, you can share on Instagram, leave us a review. I think that would be such a nice way to support us, because it just helps us grow. People know what they're looking for. When new listeners join, they can see the support, and again, it makes me feel worth the while. Anyways, I would do it irrespectively. But yeah, I mean, if you want, you can always leave us a review, and I'm always available if you need to reach out. And thank you so much. I love you. Bye.